Hello everyone, my name is Samir Khan and I'm going to be leading this presentation on feature-driven development from Team Alpha. FDD is an iterative and incremental software development process that aims to deliver tangible, working software repeatedly in a timely manner. It's a lightweight or agile method for developing software. FDD blends several industry-recognized best practices into a cohesive whole. It was first proposed in 1997 by Jaffer Loncka and Peter Quad as a client-valued method for developing software. FDD blends a number of industry-recognized best practices into a simple, straightforward process focused squarely on building real software features in a short time frame. These practices are driven from client-valued functionality. Its main purpose is to deliver tangible, working software repeatedly in a timely manner in accordance with the principles behind the Agile Manifesto. FDD is a model-driven short iteration process that consists of 5 basic activities. For accurate state reporting and keeping track of the software development project, milestones that mark the progress made on each feature are defined. Now let's talk about the basic activities. FDD consists of 5 core activities that take a project from inception to deployment. Number 1. Develop an overall model. The first step is to develop an overall model of the problem domain, outlining key objects, responsibilities, and relationships. This serves as a blueprint for detailed designs. This typically involves creating a high-level object model using techniques like object modeling or code and fix programming to identify the key objects, responsibilities, and relationships. The model serves as a blueprint for more detailed designs later. Number 2. Build a features list. The client and developers collaborate to compile a feature list representing functional requirements that deliver tangible business value. This list directs the system's development and delivery. The client and developers work together to build a list of features the system needs to have. Each feature represents a functional requirement that provides real business value to the client or end user. The features list guides the future development and delivery of the system. Number 3. Plan by feature. Development is organized around features rather than traditional task sequences. Feature owners are appointed and class owners for affected class are identified based on the feature list. With the feature list in hand, overall development is planned by feature rather than by task or sequential flow of traditional processes. Feature owners are assigned and class owners are identified for the class impacted by each feature. Detailed sequences of steps are then planned for each feature and development class ownership is taken by the class owners. An overall plan is produced that sequences the feature delivery order and assigns owners. Number 4. Design by feature. Feature teams create designs packages comprising sequence diagrams, checklists, and other necessary artifacts for construction. Designs are reviewed and approved prior to coding. For each feature, a design package is produced by the combined effect of a feature team members. This involves creating sequence diagrams, development checklists, and other artifacts needed to actually construct that feature. Designs are carefully reviewed and signed off before the coding begins. And finally, number 5, build by feature. Feature-based coding proceeds with strict adherence to requirements. Teams conduct frequent code inspections, builds, and testing to maintain high quality without scope expansion. With designs in hand, the actual coding work is conducted feature by feature. The feature teams work in strict mode, meaning no additional scope is taken on beyond the requirements of the specific feature. Frequent code inspections, builds, and testing are done to ensure high quality. When a feature is completed, it undergoes inspection and approval before promoted to the main build for release to the client or the end user. This cycle repeats for each remaining features until the entire system is constructed. So in summary, the 5 key activities of FDD are developing the overall model, building the feature list, planning by feature, designing by feature, and iteratively building each feature. By following this process, FDD allows teams to frequently deliver tangible, working results that provide real business values. Thank you.
Hi, myself Jaffer Mohiuddin. I am from Team Alpha, and in today's presentation, I am going to talk about the best practices of feature driven development. Like all good software development processes, feature driven development is built around core set of best practices. These practices are aimed at client valued feature perspective. The best practices that make up feature driven development are domain object modeling, developing by feature, individual class code ownership, feature teams, inspections, regular builds, configuration management, reporting slash visibility of results. So, first, domain object modeling. Domain object modeling involves creating class diagrams that represent the type of objects in a problem domain and their relationship. These diagrams resemble entity relationship diagram but include inheritance operations to show how objects behave. And sequence diagrams can complement these class diagrams by showing how objects interact. So the domain object models show how these classes are related with each other and interact. Next, developing by feature. Creating an elegant domain object model is not enough if it does not align with the functionality clients are expecting. Any function that is too complex to be implemented within 2 weeks is further decomposed into smaller functions until each subproblem is small enough to be called feature, because in the class diagrams the functionality can soon become very complicated. So by employing developing by feature, it makes it easier to deliver correct functions and to extend or modify the system. Individual class code ownership. Individual class ownership means that distinct pieces or grouping of code are assigned to a single owner. The owner is responsible for consistency, performance, and conceptual integrity of the class. This development process decides who person or a role is ultimately responsible for the contents of a class. And implementing individual class code ownership is much easier nowadays with the all the object oriented programming languages, as they allow us to create classes, and these classes can inherit properties from one another. Next, feature teams. A feature team is a small, dynamically formed team that develops a small activity. Multiple minds are always applied to each design decision, and multiple design options are evaluated before one is chosen. Inspections. Inspections are carried out to ensure good quality design and code, primarily by detection of defects. Feature driven development relies heavily on inspection to ensure high quality of design and code is being created. Next, regular builds. At regular intervals, we take all of the source code for the features that we have completed and the libraries and components on which it depends, and we build the complete system. It ensures that there is always an up-to-date system that can be demonstrated to the client. And also regular builds help highlight the integration error of the source code. Configuration management. Configuration management helps with identifying the source code for all features that have been completed to date, and maintaining a history of changes to classes as features future teams enhance them. Reporting visibility of results. Manager steer a project using frequent, appropriate, and accurate progress report from all levels inside and outside the project based on the completed work. As this, the reporting of results help them in making future decision, as it is much easier to steer a vehicle when you know where we are at and how fast we are moving. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Hemalatha Polasani. I am here to discuss the feature driven development roles and responsibilities. There are six essential roles in feature driven development: project manager, chief architect, development manager, chief programmer, class owners, and domain experts. Project manager. He is responsible for sharing the progress of the project with the client, ensuring that the project is progressing as required. In addition to this, one project manager can manage more than one project. So their responsibilities include uh, they are the administrative lead of the project and are responsible for the budgeting, deciding the head count, creating and circulating progress reports. They keep the team focused on delivering features on time. They are responsible for operating the project system and control center. Chief architect. Chief architect is nothing but the one who designs the system, and they handles a team of the architects. So in a small scale project it can be one person as well, and their responsibilities are uh, they manage the overall design of the system and are accountable for running design workshops within the process. Additionally, they ensure that everyone in the team has a good understanding of the design. Moreover, they guide the project through technical difficulties. If there were any issues or errors, they can help the developers with by changing the design or discussing the design with the clients, or either of the ways. Development manager is one who handles a team of developers and ensures that they finish their job on time. They may handle more than one project at a time, and their responsibilities include keeping track of day to day development activities, making sure that there are no conflict among the team members, and coordinating with the chief architect and the project manager and provide them the timely reports. And coming to chief programmer, chief programmer is one of the most experienced programmers. It is the chief programmer's duty to help in programming and ensure that it is going in the correct direction. The chief programmer handles one project at a time. They will not be assigned with the multiple projects at a time, and he is the experienced developer. He or she, they lead the small team for developers. Both developers and managers respect the decisions in the development. Class owners. Class owners are the developers who create features. In addition to this, they take guidance from the chief programmer and send progress reports to the development manager. Class owners are individual developers, design the project and get it verified once the design is confirmed. So, additionally, they do coding and initial testing as well, called SIT. So, in the end, they document the feature. Documenting the feature is really important because if someone later comes up with but for fixing the issues or something, that it would be helpful to understand the code and or understand the design features. Domain experts can be anyone who has the best knowledge of that particular domain and can help teams to gain an understanding of it. For example, in school we have different teachers for different subjects, and one teacher cannot teach all the subjects. In this case, every subject is a domain, and that subject teacher is a domain expert. So domain experts can be users, clients, sponsors, and the knowledge base of the developers. There are other supporting roles for the feature driven development, and they are domain manager, release manager, language guru, build engineer, toolsmith, system administrator, testers, developers, technical writers. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I am Sarayu. I will be continuing with the feature driven development terms and summaries. One of the first term is inspections. These inspections are the formal reviews for the code and the source components, aims to ensure the quality of the product and the functionality of the in the development process. They mostly help in identify the bugs and improve the code quality and the coding standards and monitor the project progress. And in an inspection team and the conspire memberings and with the various role examine the work. What they only examine the work, but that doesn't fix them directly. They focus on providing the feedback, and this helps in prevent costly corrections later and ensures the alignment of an end user requirement. Next will be the parking lot diagram. Next one of the terms is the parking lot diagrams. These parking lot diagrams are used graphically convey the current state of the development of the product into a key functional components that are meant to provide a particular result. The parking lot diagram uses the color to denote the status of the significant functionality and the boxes to show the functionality between the many stages of the product functionality hierarchy. As you can see here in the parking lot diagram, green means that the work is completed, and yellow means it's in progress, and white means it hasn't started. Next is that the parking lot works as follows. As you can see, first is the feature list. We start the list of all the features, other tasks that need to be completed for the project. Next is the grid layout. We need to create a grid or the table with the rows representing the different features, categories or the areas of the project, and the columns representing the stages of the development. Next is a feature cards. Each feature or the task is represented by the card or the sticky note. Write the name of the feature on the card. Next are the movements of the cards. The work progress of the feature moves it correspondingly card according to the columns from the left to right. Like for example, if the feature might start in the backlog and move to design, and once the design is complete, then to the development, testing, and finally it is completed. Next are the visual cues. Use the color coding or other visual cues to indicate the status of the each feature. For example, you might use the different colors to represent the features on the track, delayed, or the blocked, as you can see in the before slide. Next is the regular updates, updating the parking lot diagram, ensuring the during the team meetings or the stand-ups to represent the current status of the feature. This ensures that everyone on the team is aware of the progress and any potential blockers. Next one of the term is a completion chart. The feature completion chart is a visual representation, as you can see, used to track the progress of the each feature development across iteration or the time. It provides the stakeholders the clear overview of the feature that has been completed, which is in progress, and which are yet to be started. Next are the feature sets. These are the group of related features that help to organize and manage the development efforts. They define the clear scopes and assign the ownership to the feature teams, track progress, manage dependencies, and prioritize the work and facilitate the iterative development. They ensure the effective planning and delivery of the software functionalities in the manageable units. Next one of the terms is the builds and integration in the FDD. In the FDD, which is feature-driven development. It builds and integrates the involve compiling the code and changes into executable components and merging them into the shared code base regularly. This ensures the new features are incorporated smoothly and tested for the quality and compatibility, facilitating collaboration and timely deliverable of the high quality software. Next are the FDD ceremonies. In feature-driven ceremonies refer to the formal activities or the events the team participates to for the development of the process. These ceremonies help in ensuring the project progress smoothly, stakeholders are aligned, and the communication remains effective. One of the ceremonies are like a feature kickoff ceremony. In the feature kickoff ceremony, meetings are the start at each cycle of the feature development. In this meeting, team works through the feature requirements, clears up any confusion, and develops a mutual understanding of the objectives and the timeline. Next is a feature design session. The feature team holds a design session prior to the beginning at the feature, whiteboarding, brainstorming, and talking about the specific feature implementation is all part of sessions. The goal is to create the solid plan for the development that aligns the overall project architecture. Next is the progress report meeting. This is like any stand-ups. Progress report meetings are like regular meetings and report the status of the project. These sessions play a crucial role in keeping the stakeholders informed, identifying any issues or the obstacles which are causing, and ensure that project stays on track. This is a valuable mechanism for the monitoring the project progress, fostering collaboration and maintaining alignment among the team members and the stakeholders. They contribute to the overall success of the project by promoting transparency, accountability, and then effective communication. Last is the client acceptance meeting. Client acceptance meeting every day is when the completed software is formally presented to the clients for testing. The team ensures all the features are implemented and tested beforehand. During this meeting, this evaluate the software against the predefined criteria. If it meets the criteria, it is accepted for the deployment. Otherwise, the future iterations may be added. Yeah, thank you.
So now that we've looked at, for feature-driven development, the ceremonies and terminology, let's look at a couple of real-world examples of feature-driven development being used in software engineering. Firstly, we have Design IT, who used feature-driven development for general website design. They're a company that develops a large variety of different websites for a large variety of different clientele and purposes. So they needed an agile methodology to help keep up with the competition. They chose feature-driven development because when looking at other methodologies like Scrum, cycles ended up being too long. With website design being simpler in nature, tasks generally only take a day or two at most, and client feedback is necessary every time one of these tasks finishes. Furthermore, team experience for Design IT varied greatly, and feature-driven development allowed team leaders to pick tasks assigned by the project manager and then individual team members to simply work on those tasks. So it was very easy to organize the work between different individuals. Lastly, feature-driven development allowed for very easy requirement tracking among the different features, so it was easy to tell how far along the project was. Another example of feature-driven development being used in software engineering is with Mousebreaker, which is an online gaming website. Now, they used a mixture of Kanban and feature-driven development in order to complete their website, because they worked asynchronously, so they needed a way to help keep track of the progress of everyone. So the biggest problem they ran into with being asynchronous was that teams wanted to work on different tasks ahead of time. And so feature-driven development allowed for very easy prioritization of tasks and help each team to understand that they need to complete the bare to complete their feature, and then submit that and get feedback before they continue on working on something else. So now that we've looked at a couple of examples, let's look at SWOT analysis of feature-driven development. For a quick review, strengths are internal to the project and pros. Weaknesses are internal to the projects and cons. Opportunities are external to the project and pros, and threats are external to the project and cons. So firstly, for feature-driven development, strengths is that it's very easy to track the progress of the overall project. I mean, each individual feature is its own task, so the more features you have complete, the further along the project is, and the state of each feature is how far along that specific feature is. So, like if a feature is ready to be shown to a client, then that's its current state. So it's very easy to see exactly how far every part of the project is. Furthermore, because feature-driven development only relies on simply developing a feature, getting client feedback, and going back and forth in that loop, it allows for very quick development of software if necessary. Lastly, feature-driven development allows for a variety of experience levels among the team, as mentioned before, making it very friendly to individuals who are newer to Agile. Now, for weaknesses, there are two particular kinds of projects that feature-driven development isn't really suited for. And those are really small projects because breaking down those features into subsets generally end up being so small that they're trivial to complete. And at that point, why bother breaking them up in the first place? And for highly complex projects where each feature is highly dependent on each other feature, it can be very hard to complete each feature one at a time, and especially it can be hard to build off of those features because making a change to one feature might change the entire rest of the program. So for opportunities, since you are constantly getting feedback from the client in order to approve your features, it allows you to constantly pivot or change your project as needed if there are any suggestions. And getting a high amount of feedback will lead to a high amount of satisfaction for your project. And lastly, for threats, you need to have someone on your team that has a good understanding of your client's vision of the project in order to properly implement features in the correct order. Otherwise, you might implement something your client doesn't like and you might need to backtrack. Furthermore, communication with the client is at an all-time high in terms of necessity for feature-driven development. You cannot complete feature-driven development without an extreme amount of communication with the client, and so their participation is basically mandatory for the project. Thank you.